And we are live. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Meta Lab. My name is Mike. I'm your lovely host, and I am also joined by Jay. Say hello, Jay.
Hi.
Oh, hi. This is episode 123. Over the last week, I know that we've been that the pre-releases have started. So, Jay, what did you get up to over the last week? What happened for you?
I went to the same pre-release as you at 401 Games on Thursday, and that ended up being, because we had enough packs, it was 2 booster, standard 300 point sealed. I pulled, not ideally as far as rarity goes. I ended up playing the 50 point Black Panther, not the shifting focus one. The carry shifting focus Doctor Strange, the Wasp with running shot incapacitate, the ELEKTRA with blades, Iron Fist, and I think maybe one other character that I can't remember, but I had like 6 characters and they were all 50 or 40 points. And I ended up going 2-1. So that was good, considering that I faced 2 chases. I managed to beat both the chase teams, but then I lost to the team that had only a rare. So that was fun time. And then I got 3rd place at the GTA League tournament that we had this past week, which was 400 limited.
Yeah.
Where I played.
By the way, I know I had to leave a little before you placed. But that's awesome.
Yeah, totally left, and then I got knocked out of the top 4, so you didn't miss much. I played Jackham, good old Jackham Thunder. We all know that guy.
Jackham? Nice, yeah.
Good old Jack.
He's a
What I call him now, apparently. Merc with the Mal, title character Deadpool, Mixie, Frogman, Fast Forces Penguin, Mercury, and Betty Brand. And then I also had the torso of the Hulkbuster for the Merc with the Mouth, and Symbiote generally for Jakeem. So I ended up losing to a Krang team and then a mishmash team of just random meta elements. It was Nick, Joker, Mixie, Jakeem. It's one of those, like mine, just a random mishmash of
good stuff team.
Stuff. Yeah, good stuff Inc. Yeah. That was fun, and I got a pack with a rare as part of my prizing, but I also got a Pat Pog finally, which I never had before, so that's going to be fun to play. It's a good time.
Awesome.
I'm doing reasonably decent in the standings. I don't know what the rankings are now, but I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I got to update it with yesterday's information, but I'm sure that you've gone up a little bit. That's a good placement. All right. Well, as for myself, also went to that same pre-release at 401 Games on the Thursday. I played Shifting Focus ELEKTRA. I pulled both ELEKTRAs in the same pack, so that was kind of fun. Get to play that a little bit. I do like the exploit weakness / stealth sidestep version of her. I ended up because of the combat reflexes, I ended up keeping it as her a lot of the time. It's interesting if you can actually pull off that like the shift to the other one, because the other one has that power that allows you to keep attacking other characters, just not the same one over and over again, and so you can end up dealing out quite a bit of damage, especially since she has blades. But if I'm pressed, I prefer to have combat reflexes versus super senses. So defensively, I was much more interested in using the other one. I played also Purple Man, which I really want to make work because I think he's kind of cool. He's 70 points, so he's a little bit rich for his initial stats. But he has that really cool power, or series of powers that work together. 3 powers that work together, although very outwittable.
Very outwittable and way too night. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so basically, you get +3 to your mind control. When you mind control someone, they get a pheromone token. And then when he takes damage, when Purple Man takes damage, he can mastermind it to that character. So that's pretty cool. And then you have to take off a token, etc. So it's a lot that goes into it. But I just thought it was a more interesting mechanic, so I got to play with him. I got to play with his sculpt duplicate, different paint job, Ben Urich, because I had 10 points left over, and Ben Urich is 10 points and shuts down. What does he shut down again? It's
Mastermind shape change.
Shape change, and there's not a lot of shape change in this set, so it really was useless. I used him as a body blocker in a couple of different instances. Who else had? Oh yeah, I had one of the Hulks on my team. The defenders, 18 defense, actually good stats throughout his whole dial. With the defender's trait that basically when you're using that, the person who's taking his defense power gets +1 to their defense as well. And the synergy on my team was Marvel Knights, which I always chose as wildcards, with that defender's team ability. And then I also had the shifting focus WASP, but I only had one of them. I had the incapacitate running shot one, which isn't bad, not bad at all. And she has the Avengers team ability. So I was switching between borrowing that so that I can move my whole team up, and borrowing the defender's team ability so that I could share Hulk's defense and bolster my defenses in general. I had crappy dice. I've had really bad dice over the last few weeks. It's painful, but I know it's normal and it'll bounce back. Blah blah blah. Ended up going 2-1 in that tournament, so that was kind of fun. Didn't get a lot of points, but that's all right. And I mean, it is a pre-release, so it's not really reflective of anything major anyway. Ended up going to the GTA League event as well on Saturday, being the commissioner of the league essentially. And I brought a really casual team because I didn't really care. I brought. It's a little less casual than I'd like to admit, really, but it's KC Green Lantern, which I've used pretty extensively at this point, along with KC Shazam. It's nice because you got the 170 point matchup there, so you've got the anti Nick Furiness in that, along with the ability to wild card with Shazam, the JSA. And sharing the 20 defense. They both have invincible, so that's a little bit of anti-shredder. And last but not least, I had Tim Hunter on the team. Well, Tim Hunter and Pim Particles, which was the 60 points together. Yes, but Tim Hunter from Trinity War, and he is able to take a free action and borrow the powers of an adjacent character. I think as long as they have the mystical keyword, I can't remember offhand. And so he had invincible as well. And also when he's attacked, he gets to borrow the defense value of an adjacent character as long as they have a token, I believe. One or more tokens. And so he had 20 defense for pretty much the majority of the game. So yeah, high defenses, which isn't unusual for my teams, along with some interesting power and synergy. Him borrowing TK and invincible and yada yada from the adjacent Green Lantern allows me to, let's TK forward Shazam, let him go out, come back, and then TK him back into safety. Fairly straightforward, really no-brainer kind of team. But I didn't do all that well. I went 1-3, and that's unusual for me. But I was fine with it. It was okay. It was a good time still to get out there and play some competitive clicks with some friends. Yeah, so that was my week in review. Let's now move on to the news. Let's see here. I've got the pages up. I'm just going to share my screen. And let's see here. We don't have a lot to talk about today, but at least we have this. That really is trippy. Let's see. Where's my share screen? Share screen. Share. And it's still doing it. But let's see if I can. Did that work out? I don't know why it's. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we have a preview of some of the shifting focus articles. There's part 1 and part 2. This is part 2, so let's go back to part 1. Here's shifting focus part 1, and it just goes over the different shifting focus characters. I'm honestly, my initial reaction to some of this is that It's too bad that it's neat that they're using shifting focus more, but it's too bad that most of them are only 2 characters to flip back and forth between. I like the Deadpool because there's several, and I also really like Superman from World's Finest because there are several options, and it makes it a little bit more cerebral, a little bit more interesting to play with. Now we've got, excuse me, first up, shifting focus vision. He has the trait, which is shifting focus. We all know what that means, so I'm not going to go over it. What's interesting is his dial. He's only 50 points. He has sidestep 6 movement to start with. He ends up with some invincible, which I mean he has a great reducers throughout his whole dial. But he also has exploit weakness, and he is indomitable. Jay, what do you think of this particular character? Anyway, for 50 points, is he worth it?
Yeah, competitively, I don't necessarily see a place for him. Although he is quite cheap, so you never know in the future times.
Right. Now, if we are going, so would you give him a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I guess overall thumbs up.
That's fair enough. All right. That's part 2. Let's go back here. The second version of him, the translucent version. This isn't actually reflective of the sculpt. If you see the sculpt itself, the translucent pieces are the cape, the gloves, the boots, anything yellow, but the rest of it is actually pretty solid looking. He has the same trait, of course, but his powers, this is more of a mobile and defensive version of him. He's got some phasing to start with 9 movement, a little bit of psychic blast, so a little more range, on the range of 6, of course. Flight, some super senses all the way through, and some range combat expert on the last 3 clicks, along with the major change there is a little less defensive, but still has the excuse me, sidestep at the top. But yeah, 19 defense in this particular case is pretty cool for 50 points. Obviously, he has the Avengers TA, so you can move him without it taking up one of your actions. You still have to token him, but yes, it does not take up one of your 3 actions in 300 points. What do you think, Jay?
He also looks pretty decent considering defenses, penetrating damage, decent enough range, and whatnot. And the fact that in these current days, even a character this cheap can call on some pretty good stuff via ID cards. So, yeah, he's also a thumbs up.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd give him a thumbs up. His defensive value at 50 points is just insane, really, for something that isn't Atomica. Okay, so moving on from here. You've got the WASP. This is the version that I was talking about playing during the pre-release, and that is the running shot, incapacitate with 2 bolts. She's only got 5 range, so it's really a swing of 8 in this particular case. But she is tiny, and she has 19 defense to start off, so you're looking at a 20 from range, along with super senses, of course. And in this set, you'll notice that there are a lot of 10 attacks, so that's kind of hard to hit. Say once again, although it's not called shifting in this particular case, it's called the costume change. It is the shifting focus trait. What do you think, Jay?
She looks good against pit crew teams, which we're going to be seeing more of, considering how cheap she is and the fact that she has 2 targets. It's not easy to retaliate on, nor is she really necessarily worth it, considering how many points she is and how even a bigger character could miss her. Yeah. Now she's overall not much of a threat, so.
Yeah, incapacitate unfortunately isn't one of those crazy powers that you see a lot of in competitive. I'd give her probably a thumb sideways. All right, let's move on. Here is the second version. I haven't looked at her too closely yet. Once again, we've got the shifting focus trait. We have her special damage power, which is on her first 3 clicks. By the way, she has 40 points versus 50 points, which is vision is 50 points. So she is a little bit cheaper. So that special power is a natural leader. WASP can use leadership as if she were 100 points. When she doesn't succeed, add 2 actions to your action total instead of 1. Not bad. She is the Psychic Blast version of this character. She does not start with running shot, but does end with that same 3 movement running shot, essentially. So her swing near the end of her dial is 3. She's only got 10 attack, and then which reduces to a 9. Although she is just as hard to hit, or even harder to hit, sorry, from further away. With energy shield deflection, she ends up at a 21 because she is tiny. Jay, what do you think of this one?
Leadership on a character this cheap looks very interesting, considering, especially since it gets even better under new rules. And the fact that they do look potentially worth playing, if only because they're just so hard to hit, and they both offer certain utility that's not really worth attacking them over unless you're guaranteed to hit those really good defenses.
Yeah, unless you're using Pulse Wave on this particular one, for instance, because the other one's still a 19, but this one's an 18.
Yeah.
So thumb, where's your thumb at for this one?
My thumb is up in an upward direction.
In an upward vector. All right, moving on. So from here, we move on to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange does have 3 versions of him instead of 2. And the first that we will look at is this one. He is a defender, of course. Has the defender's team ability, shifting focus trait, along with a defender's trait. Once per turn for all characters with this trait, if a character uses defender's team ability to replace its defense value with Doctor Strange's, you may roll one of the re-roll one of the attack dice, so like a semi-prob, which is kind of cool. He also has a special movement power, which on the first 2 clicks is with 12 movement, which ends up in 11, 11, and 10 on the 5th click. He has 50 points. That power is Doctor Strange can use phasing teleport. When he does, he can carry up to 2 friendly characters or 4 friendly characters, which seems to be the special transporter figure formula these days. 4 friendly characters if they all have the defender's keyword, which is pretty cool. I do like the defenders, so that's neat to see a little bit more of that in play. And of course, in this set, we see lots of it, which is great. What do you think there, Jay?
Looks interesting, especially with that really good defenders together, especially when you might want to have not prob these days if you're facing something like a shut-off prob, like a Howard or a Peggy or a Venom Pool. So, and then that reroll can eventually be better than prob.
Right.
I've noticed that can give you a lot of opportunities to make your opponents decent attack rolls into a crit miss. Like if they roll 1 at a 6 for a 7, you can still try and turn that into a crit miss, which can be quite effective. Yeah. The only problem is that he's 50 points for this. I guess you have to consider the shifting focus, but a lot of the characters that are mystical or that you're wanting to be carrying are flyers. Like Jakeem flies himself, unless you want to give him Earthbound to carry him specifically, which you can. But I don't know if you're going to get so much utility with him and mystical specifically, especially because then you don't get as much use out of the defenders stuff.
Yeah, and the defenders in general are not quite competitive. Okay, so thumb.
Sideways.
Right. Considering shifting focus, I give it a thumbs up. All right, moving on. Right, internet's a little slow today. I'm not sure why. Here we go. Okay. This is the second one. This is the uncommon one. Obviously, he's got the shifting focus trait. Then he has the defenders together trait, and in this particular case, when you do borrow it, you can, let's see here, reduce the damage dealt by an additional 1 if they have the defender's keyword. Pretty cool. He also has a special defense power, which is on all of his clicks. Stay behind my mystical shield. Doctor Strange can use defend. If an adjacent friendly character takes damage from an attack after action is resolved, you may heal that character of 1 damage. And if you do, roll a d6, and on a result of 1 to 3, deal 1 unavoidable damage to Doctor Strange. So that indicates that 4 through 6 means you take no damage. He does have the Defender's team ability, of course. He has Sidestep the whole way through the dial. Not a very complicated dial, but it's neat when you consider the other shifting focus piece. What do you think there, Jay?
It's a bit of a weird piece considering that he has Defenders and Defend. Mm-hmm. I guess you have powers that work depending on whatever you're playing with. And you're probably not playing with Defenders anyway, so competitively speaking, it can be effective, and being able to heal someone else and taking a 50-50 shot of not taking damage himself is pretty cool. He looks fine for the points, especially considering the other options you can get out of him. So I guess thumbs up for me.
Cool. All right, thumbs up for me too. Moving on. Last but not least, we have the rare version of Doctor Strange here. Once again, shifting focus. Then his Defenders Together version of the keyword is Doctor Strange modify that character's defense value by +1 if it has the Defenders keyword. So obviously it has its uses in that particular case. Very similar to Superman. One of the Supermen from World's Finest, the +1 defense to adjacent. Let's see here. You've got a special damage power on the first 3 clicks called Mystical Guidance. Doctor Strange can use Empower and Enhancement and has a unique modifier when he uses either. Also modify the attacker's attack value by +1. That is pretty handy in that particular case. 6 range, a couple clicks of Sidestep along with Psychic Blast in the first 3 clicks. First 3 also have ESD. I mean, he only has 16 defense on all of his clicks. But ESD that turns into combat reflexes on the last 2. And then on the last 2 clicks, he also has Exploit Weakness. Defenders ATA, or not ATA, sorry, TA, of course. Jay.
I think his defenses matter a little less than the dial itself would apply because he can be effective regardless because he can shoot through characters for offenses and stand behind them for the Empower enhancement. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Because I don't feel like we got a doctor, like, I guess the rest of the shifting focuses have a defensive one that's defensive for the character itself, like healing Deadpool or Superman with Invincible. Doesn't seem like we've gotten that with Doctor Strange, but maybe we'll get more in the future.
Yeah, that's something that I know that Tom was talking about with us at the event itself.
As an overall package, I don't know if there's enough here to necessarily be competitive, but who knows?
Yeah, that improved targeting, I didn't mention that before, but you hit on it. The improved targeting ignores characters is very, very useful as well. I would give it a thumbs up, and I do hope that in other sets they add more. Moving on from here, I think that's the end of that document. I'll double check. Yep. We have the second shifting focus document. We've got Punisher. This is a pretty cool figure. The rocket launcher version of Punisher. Shifting focus trait, of course. Marvel Knights trait. This is one of those common traits amongst all of the Marvel Knights in this set. At the beginning of the game, for all characters with this trait, choose one. Characters can use this trait, or using this trait, have a minimum attack value of 10, or characters using this trait are wild cards. Pretty handy. I used that extensively, as I mentioned earlier in the week in review. He also has a special attack power on his first 2 clicks. He rocket-propelled grenade. When Punisher hits a single opposing character with a ranged attack, instead of dealing normal damage, deal that target character 4 damage and deal each character adjacent to the target 3 damage. Pretty amazing, if you ask me, for that. He is only 50 points. Jay, what do you think?
He looks quite good, and he specifically almost seems like he specifically designed to work against Bizarre Green Arrow because the damage that he's dealing with that special power isn't his damage value. It's just another value that replaces it. So you can't be affected via the Bizarre Range Combat Expert, as well as the fact that he has the other trait to give himself a minimum 10 attack value. So he'll still be doing a 10 out of 17 to do 4 to Green Arrow and then 3 to everybody adjacent.
Yeah,
so
no, exactly.
For only 50 points.
Big thumbs up.
You can, yeah, thumbs up.
Great. Now, as we said before, there's only 2 of this character in this set. I really hope we see more because this one is not nearly as good as the other one. Shifting focus, obviously the same sculpt, just instead of holding a rocket launcher over his shoulder, he is holding a knife. He's got that Marvel Knights trait as well. And then he has a special attack value or attack power throughout the whole dial. This is a stealthy Punisher as well, which is very handy because neither one of them has a move and attack power. But his special attack power is, so I guess it's going to be the up close and personal route. Punisher can use Blades, Claws, Fangs, and when he does, if the result of his d6 roll is less than 3, you may instead deal 1 penetrating damage. Pretty handy. Does have a little bit of combat reflexes along with some toughness to end off his defensive dial. His printed damage as well is 3. So he is going to get through a lot of things even if there are reducers. He'll at least get 1 damage in. Once again, 50 points. Shifting focus character. Jay, what do you think?
He's not great, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No move and attack and just blades, essentially. Unless you can have some really cool stuff to do with wild carding, but that's really all you can do.
Right. I'm going to give him a thumbs down in this particular case.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the woman in question. I mentioned ELEKTRA earlier. I believe that this is the better of the 2 of them, really. I've been mentioning keywords, but she does have Marvel Knights, the Hand, Assassin, and Martial Artist, so she does fit on a lot of different teams, and we all love the Hand teams. Shifting focus ELEKTRA, Marvel Knights, traits, and then she has her special movement power on all of her clicks, effortlessly moving across the battlefield. It's important to note as well that she does have improved movement, ignores elevation, and hindering on both characters, actually. But yes, she effortlessly moving across the battlefield. ELEKTRA can use sidestep and stealth. So getting her, this is the more positioning-oriented version of ELEKTRA. She also has combat reflexes on her first 3 clicks and exploit weakness throughout. So 3 damage, exploit weakness. Very, very nice. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, she's pretty solid with mobility, defenses, movement, and penetrating damage for that low of a point investment, as well as shifting focus option and the additional option of Marvel Knights. Although with her attack values, you're probably going to want to have wild card potential instead of the 10 attack for that 1 click where it could be lower.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would definitely play with her using that wild card. Switching between that Avengers TA and the Defenders TA came in handy, let me tell you. Thumbs up. All right, moving on. ELEKTRA, once again, as I mentioned before, she has the same improved movement. This is the red costume version. If you are only listening, the other one was a black costume version. Same 2 traits, shifting focus and Marvel Knights. She also has a special movement power. It's on her first 3 clicks out of 5. Dance of Death. Give ELEKTRA a close combat action and to make any number of close attacks, each targeting an adjacent opposing character that wasn't already targeted during this action. She's got a lot of red on her dial, as on her last 2 clicks she does have Flurry, and then on all of her clicks she has Blades, Claws, Fangs, and Super Senses. She only has 1 damage natively, so you're always going to be rolling that Blades, Claws, Fangs. Jay, what do you think?
She looks like she can be pretty effective, more in a pit crew era kind of game, attacking everybody and rolling blades, hopefully killing a lot of stuff. with short dial lengths, but yeah, currently not as good as she's going to be in the future.
Yeah, I don't think she's quite competitive. I'd give her a thumb, probably sideways. All right, and I believe that this is the last of them. We have Black Panther. Black Panther is only 30 points, so he is the cheapest of them. This Black Panther that we're looking at right now, Avengers, Wakanda, and Scientist, has the shifting focus trait, and it's really his dial is really simple. He does not. He only has He has 3 clicks of 9 attack and then 8 attack. He has stealth on his first 2 clicks, along with leap climb on his last 2 clicks, and then he has outwit throughout. So it's 30 points of outwit. Now with the new rules, of course, that is very handy. He also does have the Avengers TA, so it means you can move him around without it taking up one of your 3 actions in a 300-point game. Jay, what do you think?
They brought back the original Pit Crew character for the new Pit Crew meta, so he should do very well.
Yeah, I think he is a thumbs up, in my opinion.
Especially with his ID card inspiration, if you want to run him that way, which I believe was Barrier, Smoke Cloud, and Stealth. So
yeah, it's the same as the Batman one.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out the other one real quick. All right, guys, at home as well, get in your questions either on the Facebook page or on the live chat. We will be going through all of them at the end, like right after this segment, pretty much. All right, last but not least, we have the other shifting focus Black Panther. The only, like, they both, the sculpt is a little bit different, and in this particular case, the paint is slightly different as well. Instead of having the open mouth guard area, he's got a closed mouth guard area. He has the shifting focus trait, and then his dial is 8 movement with charge in the first 2 clicks. Then he has Blaze Claw's Fangs on the first 2 clicks, along with combat reflexes on all of his clicks, and he ends his dial on click 3 and 4 with sidestep and with exploit weakness. Jay, what do you think?
I don't think on his own, if you didn't have shifting focus, this would not be a good character. But considering that you can just jump from the stealth outwit ridiculously cheap piece to a 30-point piece with charged blades, he can be quite good. Although he needs to be played very carefully, as otherwise he'll make 1 attack and then be killed right away. So he's more of a character you want to attack with when your opponent's pieces are all pushed out.
Or start it the other way around, right? I mean, you charge in, use blades, blah blah blah, then switch over and outwit. Yeah. In order to protect him. Yep. All right. Probably thumbs up because of shifting focus.
Yeah,
that's fair. All right. Now back to my mug. So here we go. We also have we wanted to mention that you can check out these Scott Porter unboxings, which is in a very familiar format. He does the 2 booster a day thing. They're all out right now. He gets through a brick, pulls some pretty cool stuff. And then, of course, our lovely channels unboxing, the Married with Clicks unboxing, and in-depth analysis video by Jason. Let's see here. I think we're about ready to move on to, unless there's something else you wanted to talk about, Jay, move on to fan questions.
Not really. It's not the most. It's a bit of a slow.
Yeah, it's a lull.
Year, so not really.
We're in a bit of a lull, people. Get those questions in. Here we go. I'm going to start with the Facebook page questions. Let's see. Of course, put a stamp on it. We've got that question, the weekly question from Chris Stockhouse. Got your stamp handy? Are you going to do it or what?
It's not handy.
All right. Well, anyway, there we go.
I'm the worst.
You really do suck. All right, he says, "Hello, Metal Lab. Hopefully, everyone got to play some games this weekend to celebrate International Tabletop Day. I am certainly glad to see that so many people playing games that maybe wouldn't normally make time for games. So it is looking like I won't make it to any of the next rounds of the WizKids Opens. I can't make it to Canadian Nationals, though I'm hoping to come up for the Canada Rock Cup if I can swing it. Well, we hope that you can too. And I am not qualified for US Nats either. Any advice for grinding out the world's qualifiers? I believe that they are all constructed 8-man pods. Should / would you go can't would you go can't die and stall out in advance to advance in the pod, or would just play what's best after, quote unquote, best after rotation. Any advice is appreciated. I tried to ask this last week, but I forgot to hit submit. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, Jay, you've competed in Worlds. What do you think on his?
I did not qualify for Worlds last year.
No, you didn't. But you went. You at least went to the event. What did you think of the qualifiers, the way they were ran?
Well, last year it was just 2 sealed events, not at all like this year. As far as the actual question is concerned, I don't really think that there is any don't die after Worlds. Like, Joker is still legal.
Yeah.
Loki is still legal, but not viable because Jakeem exists. Like,
yeah, Jakeem destroys him.
I can't really think of any don't die that exists as a 300-point team post-rotation.
I mean, Jakeem kind of is a don't die in and of himself, just because of his ability to regen, and 8 clicks long. It's almost impossible to kill him in one shot.
Yeah, I guess no Krang, or less likely to see Krang. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think there will be any Krang, unless somebody just didn't get the memo.
Or they just forgot their retirement happened. Yeah, I don't really think that Don't Die is as viable as just playing good stuff. I'm not 100% familiar with how the format works. Like, I think you start with 8 people, then you do single elimination up to the top 1.
Yeah, I don't know either. I need to. I've been out of it for a couple weeks, so.
Yeah, you can also get second at 2 different grinders and get into Worlds, so you don't have to necessarily win. Just do well. I think you're probably just better off playing just a good team rather than don't die, unless we are just completely missing how the format works, but I'm going to look it up quickly.
Yeah, if you can do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, you can vamp. I believe in you.
Yeah, I can a little bit. I'm really looking forward to Worlds anyway. I haven't been yet, so but I do have my stay booked at this point, and I will be there. I'd say when it comes to any of these big competitions, you should always play the most optimal team. It may not be the most fun necessarily, but yeah, play optimally, because you are spending the money to travel, and the whole point is to win, essentially. And, and meet some people, which is pretty cool. I do love meeting new players and adding friends on Facebook, of course. But yeah, play something that is optimal at the time. I, however, really like the fact that we're getting away from don't die teams, even though I've played a fair number of them myself. I find that is kind of counter fun to begin with. So it's a lot more, although it makes it a lot more about dice rolls than it does about, yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling a little bitter about my dice lately anyway, as I can't seem to roll above a 6. And we know that you can't really. I think Jason just
come up with some no dice tech.
Oh, you mean like shredders? Yeah.
Yeah, you should play some shredders.
Oh.
Do it.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah, so it looks like, so 8-player cap, single elimination. If you win, you get 8 of the qualification points, which gets you in, but second gets you 4. So you just need to do second
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be so hard to do. You're a good player. Don't worry about it. Play a good game, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, Chris. We know that you can do it. You want a regional, dude. You will do well. All right. Well, I think that's about answered at this point. Let's move on to Mike Backley's question. Hi there, MetaLab. Simple question because of the long episode. Which team, which team has the better defensive capabilities, Defenders or JSA? Peace. JSA.
Yes. The Defenders do not have a top dial 20 to share around.
No,
that is for sure.
They don't.
Although some of the defenders together we got are really good.
They give you cool things.
Yeah, not necessarily the best pieces though, so it doesn't really work out so great there. But you never. I mean,
you can do the same kind of cumulative defense boost that you get from the shifting focus Superman with the shifting focus Doctor Strange. You know, so you get a series of +1s, blah blah blah. Oh no, that's only never mind. That won't work. That will not work. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clearly JSA in this particular case. I'm gonna hit refresh on this page one more time. Let's see if we got any more questions in. Nope, it's just those two there. And let's move over to the live feed. We have some great comments going on here. We've got Nathaniel White saying, Marvel Knights are awesome! Yeah, they are pretty awesome. I like them a lot. And the Dormammu and Loki is evil too. Question. All right. From Dr. Octopus 2099 SSU. What are playgroups? I live in Florida and it's 8 at night for me. Playgroups. What do you mean, what are playgroups? Playgroups, like as in what is a playgroup? It's a group of people who get together to play regularly. So like the group of people who are at your local game store, etc. If you're talking about locally, go on the WIN, the WIN as it were, and look it up by location. There's a search engine that'll help you with that, and you'll find a bunch of tournaments. You'll meet people, and hopefully you'll make friends. And they'll want to help you succeed at this game. Question as well from the same person. Is Dr. Faustus, so Dr. Johann Benhoff in Heroclix? Do you know? Jay? I don't know.
Sorry, what?
Dr.
Not that I know of.
Dr. Johann Fenhoff. I guess we could search on HC Realms, but that's something that he could do as well. Want to check that out while I move on?
I'm only getting results for both versions of Felix Faust and Faust Jr.
Look up
I don't think so.
FENNHOFF.
Looking up FENN does not give any results.
Okay, all right. So I guess the answer is no, so maybe in the future they will. Another question is from Akasha. Question, can you perplex RPG Punisher's damage?
No. I mean, you can, but it wouldn't do anything.
It's a replacement. Yeah, it's a replacement value, so you can't really do that.
Crit hit damage, but that is pretty much it.
So that's an exception to the rule. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we have a question. Oh, well, we got a little controversy going on here, too. We also have Nathaniel saying, we know Nathaniel, I think both Mike and Jay are both selling the Marvel Knights short, especially that Punisher. I ran a Marvel Knights theme yesterday and shorted myself 55 points and still won the tournament. That's because you are a rock star, my friend. You did very, very well. So, Fabricio, this is the last question of the night. You have 10 seconds to add one more question if you want to, either on the Facebook page or on the live feed. But here we go. Fabricio Ugalde Granados. Pardon me if I screwed that up. Question. Most hated figure from Avengers Defenders. I guess it's a personal question. What do you think, Jay? Who do you hate?
I need a second to look it up because I don't remember every figure off the top of my head yet.
But you should.
Yet is the operative word.
Yet is the operative word.
I haven't had the chance. Leave me alone.
Oh, get off it.
Are we talking like I don't like it, or because it's bad, or don't hate it?
That is
Don't
your
like it because
discretion.
it's too good.
That is your discretion.
Okay.
All right. Cool. I would say Ben Urich in set because he's useless. It really isn't. I mean, it's great to have another 10 points. So I'm going to argue the other side. It's great to have another 10-point figure who's like 3 clicks long and has some functionality, but in set, in sealed, it's just there's almost no shape change, if any, actually, in the set. I can't remember a figure that does have it offhand. Yeah, no, it's just not good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Kingpin that we got because he's not really special. Like he doesn't do anything different than Kingpins that have come before. Like, yeah, he hands out exploit, but he just tends to have outwit, which is almost better.
Right.
And he has leadership, but both the other ones that we have leadership, so just no, completely unnecessary, basically.
Let's see here. Okay, well, I think that concludes our show today. I'm just going to go over a quick ad read here. Let's see here. We are brought to you in part by HCRealms.com, your one-stop source for everything Heroclix. Check out the forums and follow what's happening. Use the unit section and to track your collection. Check out news on your local ROC events in the ROC section. And, of course, check out the shop for some cool Clicks gear. And while you're doing that, put in the coupon code MARRIED, which is MARRIED, for 10% off your purchase. I believe those discount codes do stack with other ones, so if you do know of any others, you'll save even more. We are also brought to you in part by MajesticCCG.com, home of the Apex Insiders. For $3 per month, you get your information from some of the greatest minds in the game. They are always the first to post results from major events for both WizKids and the ROC. Check them out at majesticcg.com/apex-insiders. Also, we do have a subreddit and a Patreon, so please do contribute on the Reddit as well. We're trying to get that going, really. And if you'd like to support our channel, you may donate whatever you wish on a monthly basis via excuse me, Patreon. So with that being said, yes, on Majestics we do all have some articles. I think I only have like 1 or 2. I am the least contributing of the group at this point. But yeah, with that being said. Jay, why do you write stuff like that? Terrible. I'm just looking at your thing in our group chat. That's weird. Anyway, so thanks for watching, everybody, and hopefully I'll be on here a little bit more often myself. I know Jay has been very consistent. And with that, remember, practice
makes
your
team
better. Thanks for watching, everybody.